On behalf of the MIoD Directors Forum, it is my pleasure duty this evening to launch its third publication, which is entitled Engaging with Shareholders, a Guide for Boards. It is recalled that the first publication was launched in September 2012 and dealt with the appointment of directors. The second one came in December 2013 and dealt with the subject of ethics for boards. So now it's engaging with shareholders. Retaining the interest, respect and trust of shareholders is an essential component of good governance. Shareholders are entitled to seek the assurance that the stewardship of their investment is professional, ethical, legitimate, but it is well administered by directors who understand their roles and responsibilities, and particularly their fiduciary duties. Engaging with shareholders is one of the ways in which companies demonstrate their performance and accountability. When the engagement is effective and an understanding is reached between both parties, boards are better able to secure shareholder confidence and trust. The result is greater support for overseeing the company's affairs and for focusing on the continuing success of a business. Shareholder engagement has always been a fundamental element of a system of corporate governance. However, the complexities of the modern business world require more effective engagement with shareholders. What is especially new is, first, the extent to which shareholders are demanding greater information on a wide range of subjects, and second, the technology and social media which facilitate the flow of information. Over the last few years, due to new developments in the global environment, shareholder engagement has taken a new dimension, with the relationships between shareholders and issuers demanding more attention. This new wave of shareholder engagement is reshaping the governance landscape. The global financial crisis has increased the scrutiny of boards and company performance. At the same time, there is a growing interest in the intangible, non-financial aspects of corporate conduct and performance, including sustainability and environmental, social, community, and governance policies referred to commonly as ESG. Thus, as part of a growing international trend, many shareholders want a greater say in the governance of companies in which they invest, and boards need to be able to respond in ways which do not compromise their mandate and duties. This guide represents best practice on a worldwide scale, so that certain practices may seem quite advanced or malicious. If I was it may, the overall purpose of this guide is to encourage boards to renew their approach to shareholder engagement and to adopt proactive and effective strategies to enhance their relationship with their shareholders. If Mauritius is to become a high-income country on the world scale within the next decade, companies need to understand and adopt as appropriate global international standards.
I'm very honored to be with you. I am also very humbled, and I will be proposing to you a few short, very simple ideas, but I'm proposing them not only to the people in the room who are directors, who are CEOs, who influence decisions in other ways, but also as citizens and people who can lead Mauritius. So I've taken the point of view not only of individual companies, but the role that individual companies play together in the advancement of a country. This is a subject that interests me very much. How can countries advance? And what is the role of the company and of directors and of business leaders in that advancement? So I'm going to paint a very broad brush, and I welcome your comments, and I hope it has some relevance to you. Just give me a moment to get up to 1 second. Please, there we go. So I would like to talk about growth and innovation. One of the things that worries me as I travel around the world is seeing countries that are going up or stopped in their progress, or worse, as I see in Europe, coming backwards, moving back somehow, resisting the future. And the subject that interests me is how can we help countries move forward? How can individual companies participate in progress? Obviously, the usual words around a successful country is going to be GDP per capita or GDP growth, driven by exports, which themselves are driven by manufacturing, which themselves are driven by labor costs, but we're not in that situation. So how can we progress? And it's that question that I would like to deal with today. As directors, how can we contribute to this sustainable economic growth? And I would like to propose 4 simple ideas. This is not rocket science, but I'd like to propose these 4 simple ideas for contributing to further economic growth. I'd like to change our attitude towards manufacturing. Many countries, especially those that have gained economic traction in the past 20 or 30 years, regret the fact that Chinese manufacturing has completely dominated and overwhelmed so many emerging countries. Contrary to that point of view, I have to say thank you, China. Because in fact, this has pushed so many countries into the next economic revolution, the post-industrial economic revolution, which is the services revolution. Without regret, I am happy to tell you that the service revolution is a great source of wealth and considerable growth in spite of good manufacturers. And I encourage those in Mauritius to continue in this direction and to expand in this direction. Let me point out that in a symposium that was conducted in praise of services, to push services, one of the charts that struck me at the symposium was a comparison between one more sale of a manufactured product versus potential services for the installed base of products. Far greater potential of clients we can address for existing products rather than selling one more. I would say I don't mind if it's made in China if I can provide the financing, the retailing, the insurance, the maintenance, the training, the rental, the data analysis, and the apps. For one product, I have so many services that I can provide. The good news is that this is not just a recipe for feeling better about ourselves. This is a recipe for wealth. And I will share with you a set of charts I made many years ago, but which have been a great source of inspiration for many companies, and a source of, I would say, positive reaction. The World Bank splits the world's 200 or so countries into 3 groups: low income, middle income, and high income. This chart is from 1975, and I use this for various purposes. At the same time, the World Bank provides provides us with a sectorial analysis of GDP. In other words, they take out of 100% GDP, what is the percentage of agriculture, yellow, the percentage of industry, light blue, and the percentage of services, dark blue. We see that the high-income countries have a GDP per capita average at that time of $5,000 per head. And that is, by the way, the separating point. There's a range of GDP per capita that allows you to qualify for 1, 2, or 3 boxes. I know that Mauritius is today at the upper end of the middle income and has the ambition to move to the high income. And I have to say that I believe it can move into the high income. I've only been a guest in Mauritius for a couple of years, but already the progress in attitude and in professionalization in this small time gives me confidence that Mauritius can move into the high income. So the definition is according to GDP per capita. That's 1975. What has happened since 1975? We see that, let me go back, to go to 1980. We see that, so watch the graph. In the high-income countries, both agriculture and industry shrunk, but GDP per capita doubled. In the middle-income countries, agriculture shrunk, industry grew, and GDP per capita slightly grew. Going forward 10 years, again GDP doubles in the high income, and agriculture can hardly be seen. Industry continues to shrink. The middle income is still developing industrially. I go to 2000, middle income is now substituting agriculture for services. Industry is stabilizing in middle income. In high income, industry continues to shrink. But look at the GDP per capita. It explodes. Even for middle income, it's starting to really take off. 10 years later, it has seriously come off the bottom. It has reached, this is an average. The higher end is considerably higher. Many of the countries in that group have a wider spread that touches high income as well. But we see that leaving the industrial world actually produces more wealth. When does industry produce wealth? When you have a heavily rural environment. People live from the land, they are not monetized. They eat, they sleep, they don't have high salaries, they don't go out and buy. When you bring them into town, bring them into the factory, you pay a salary, you create the client who can buy. So the transition from a rural economy through industrialization to a richer, leaving poverty is excellent. But once you're heavily industrialized, we need to go to the next step, and the next step is services. As I pointed out, services has a huge potential. For every product we have, we could have 20 services. This means that our businesses have to behave very differently, and the talent and attitude of the business is different. We don't innovate a new product every few years that we go out and resell. Rather, we develop skills within the company where our people can develop a lifelong relationship of constant exchange with the customer, constant service to the customer, a long-term love affair with the customer. And that's a whole new set of skills. Which brings me to the second topic, which is skills and talent. Everybody here knows the importance of education and training.